21-0 lead. Steelers come back and make it a game. They tied it by halftime, but it became a shootout, 42-37. The Chiefs get a win in Pittsburgh. What can you say about Patrick Mahomes? In his third start ever, he throws 23 of 28 for 326 yards and 6 touchdowns with no turnovers. Mahomes has thrown the most touchdowns in 3 games, I think, over at least with 2 games over anybody. 10 touchdowns in 2 games, which is incredible. Seems to be the hottest young quarterback in the league right now. Roethlisberger goes 39 of 60, 452 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a rushing touchdown. Tom, what do you think? What do you see when you watch Patrick Mahomes? He sure does have a hell of an arm on him.
Yeah, he sure does. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and over 300 yards, and his completion percentage is really great. But the thing that I noticed the most out of him was his throws were lightning fast, they were lasers, and his accuracy is so good. We were just talking about Sam Darnold, and I think that, he's young and he's got a ways to go, but you can see it in his completion percentage that, he definitely has some accuracy issues that, he'll just need to get better at. Patrick Mahomes is laser focused. He's got super accurate arm, making some big plays, and I like it a lot. I played against him in fantasy this week and got absolutely routed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I feel sorry.
Gaetan, what do you think? I mean, I think that part of the good news for Mahomes is that he's in a great system for a quarterback. He's got a lot of weapons around him, and he's got Andy Reid calling the plays.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think of all the quarterbacks that Andy Reid has had, Donovan McNabb, the guy who can make plays and who could throw the ball really well. I mean, he's got a lot of weapons. I mean, you can't guard Tyreek Hill one-on-one. He'll just run around you. Sammy Watkins is a big guy, and he can still be productive. Travis Kelce, who I think, is arguably the best tight end in football. I know a lot of people like to pick Gronk, but I don't know. I like Kelce a lot. And you have Kareem Hunt. He's a good running back, and I don't know who their second running back is. But, yeah, they have a lot of weapons. Their defense isn't good, so Mahomes will have to throw a lot of touchdowns for them to win games. But he's good, man. It's early, but, I don't want to jump on the hype. Everyone's jumping on the,
it's
on
hard.
the hype.
It's hard not to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of Deshaun Watson last season, all his heroics.
Yeah.
I think he went to New England, and he put in an amazing performance. But, I think I'll be a believer this week. If this week he impresses me, like Tom brought up his completion percentage, how it's really high, and he's a laser thrower. I'll wait. I'll let you guys jump on the wagon. I'll join you next.
Well, I'm actually. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm actually with you, Gaetan. I say, pump the brakes. Sometimes these quarterbacks come in and they tear it up right away, and then defenses get more film on you, and then they adjust and they find ways to slow you down. And
I also think Pittsburgh is a big disaster to me.
Yeah.
They're with Le'Veon Bell's holdout and now Antonio Brown's miscues. Yeah. I don't know. Their defense is not good. Pittsburgh used to be the type of defense where you couldn't even throw the ball, or if you ran across the middle, they'd hit you so hard, and the fact that they got blown. Well, they didn't get blown out, but it was a shootout like that at home.
Yeah.
Says a lot that. Their defense isn't good, so credit to Mahomes and Andy Reid for exploiting their defense really well, but I'd like to see him go against an elite defense. So
yeah, talking about the Steelers' defense, I just want to say I miss Troy Polamalu. Wish we could bring him back. Talking about the Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster catches 13 passes for 121 yards and a touchdown. The Steelers are still seeking their first win of the season, and they play at Tampa Bay on Monday night. Yeah, the Antonio Brown stuff. Antonio Brown responds to a fan on Twitter. The fan says Brown should, quote, thank his lucky stars. He was drafted by the Steelers and is in the right situation at the right time with a Hall of Fame quarterback, soon to be, and that he would not have the same kind of impact on a different team. Brown responds, quote, trade me and find out, end quote, which isn't ideal to say on Twitter and in public right now with Le'Veon Bell holding out and a lot of unrest in the Steelers organization. We've got Tomlin being called out by, what's his name, Terry Bradshaw, saying he's not his type of head coach. Got Le'Veon Bell holding out. Got Antonio Brown saying this stuff, and got offensive linemen turning on Le'Veon Bell in the media. So it seems like a shit show in Pittsburgh. You know, they're on fire. They're burning up, and we'll see if they can turn it around. Tom, do you expect the Steelers to right the ship?
Totally. They're the Steelers. It's Big Ben. And anybody calling for Tomlin is an idiot. He's a great coach. He's a great coach. And you know what? It's unfortunate. Well, actually, no, it's not unfortunate. You know, he gets these ego drama queens in Bell and, you know, AB sometimes. But also, you have Bell and AB. So,
yeah.
I mean, you kind of take what you're going to get because they're going to produce anyway. And you may not have Le'Veon Bell until week 10. You may not have him anymore in Pittsburgh, but you have AB, you have Connor. Connor looks amazing. I don't think there's much to be said for that. I mean, he looks awesome. So, I think everybody who's in Pittsburgh needs to chill out. It sucks getting that tie. That stings just as bad as a loss, and then getting this loss. But I think they'll turn around. I think they'll be fine. Alex, what do you think of? Ben's not known as necessarily a mobile quarterback. What do you think of his rushing touchdown?
I thought that was nice. It was good to see. Good to see him out there. He's got the wheels like Matt Ryan. They're both just burners.
Yeah, well, no, and I think that it shows a lot about what Pittsburgh is and who Big Ben is too. I mean, it may not be his MO, his style of game, but he does what he needs to do in those moments to win. Even if they didn't pull out the win, he was fighting as hard as he could, and I think his team, obviously, respects him for that.
Absolutely. He's a great quarterback. I would love to have him on any team. He's got lots of longevity. He stays healthy, and he gets the job done in big moments. Let's go to Eagles at Bucks, where I was pretty surprised by this outcome. The Bucks jump out to an early lead and hang on late for the win, 27-21. Fitzpatrick once again tears it up, 27 of 33, 402 yards and 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. He outduels Nick Foles, who was 35 of 48, 334 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Gaetan, what do you think of the Bucks surprising the Eagles and Ryan Fitzpatrick just tearing it up?
I call him Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
The storyline is what happens when Jameis Winston come back. I don't know if you play Jameis. I think you have to ride out this wave that Ryan Fitzpatrick is on.
Yeah.
I thought he was phenomenal, and it reminds me of how well he played last year with the Jets. It was impressive. Like, the first week, okay, I thought it was a fluke, right? So that's not going to happen again. And does it again this week, and I'm sitting there like, what is going on? He's torching the Eagles' defense. They're Super Bowl champs, and I expected them to show up, at least with that defense, all those guys, the linebackers. But, that didn't happen. He went out there and he, utilized his weapons and Mike Evans and Goodwin and Deshaun Jackson, and same result like last week. They blew the team out and they won. So I liked it. I liked Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't know if you guys heard, but he came out in the press game conference. Deshaun Jackson's outfits.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Looking like Conor McGregor over there.
Yeah.
And that was the meme. There was a meme floating around on Twitter calling him the football McGregor. So
That's cool. Yeah, it's nice to see him have success. The question with Fitzpatrick is always, can he keep it up? Can he keep doing it? But as far as Tom, this is a good question for you. Where do you stand on Jameis Winston, and do you want Tampa Bay to go back to Winston, or would you rather ride with Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Well, I don't know if you can hear it from over there, but oh yeah, they've got the Kool-Aid man running around Tampa. Everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid, and they want Fitzpatrick. And I was listening to local sports radio today, and that's the consensus. They say that Jameis hasn't been able to prove himself fully on the field. He's had bright spots, flashes of brilliance, but hasn't been able to prove himself fully. But off the field, he's done nothing to prove his case that he deserves to be there.
Yep.
I am not a Winston fan, but I am not on board with Fitzpatrick. I think this is a flash in the pan. I think that he has played 2 outstanding games, but he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a journeyman. He's made a lot of really terrible decisions with a football over the years, and this is a flash in the pan for him. So, I think that he's trying to channel his inner Drew Brees by having his 7th child coming soon. But he's
Seriously?
not Drew Brees. Yeah,
Wow.
Seriously. But he's not Drew Brees, and he's not any of these elite quarterbacks. I like the guy. I think he's great. But I don't think he's the answer to the Bucs making a postseason. I don't know if Jameis is either, and I think that, unfortunately for Tampa Bay fans, this experiment and then maybe going back to Jameis might end up turning out, poorly for them in the end. So we'll see.
A crazy. Go ahead.
I agree completely. I don't know. I think that wave is gonna stop. I don't trust Fitzpatrick. Down the stretch. One thing I do like, though, is Tampa Bay has a very good defense, and they would really, really appreciate a really good run game and a really good quarterback play. So I think it just remains to be seen what happens, because I think that's a team that could silently disrupt the teams in the NFC.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's the thing that really they can hang their hat on. I mean, Quan Alexander and McCoy are 2 huge pieces for them. And if you watch that game, the Bucs D put so much pressure on their offense that that's a really bright spot.
And you add Pierre-Paul to that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a fun stat or an interesting stat on Tampa Bay and their entire team history. I know it sounds crazy. Winston's a number 1 overall pick, and I know it sounds crazy that they would draft him and not re-sign him to a second contract. In the entire history of Tampa Bay Bucs football, they have never re-signed a quarterback that they've drafted to a second contract. So.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. That was a stat that I just heard this afternoon, and it was crazy. And so if this happens with Jameis Winston, it might, continue the path.
Did they say are they the only team that has never done that?
I'm not sure if they're the only team, but I think they
they haven't re-signed anybody.
Yeah, they've never re-signed a quarterback to the second. And
when I think of Tampa Bay, I started paying attention to football probably, I want to say 2003. Was it 2003? Yeah, it was the first time I started, watching football, paying really, really close attention to it. I don't really remember Tampa Bay having those big name quarterbacks. There was always those guys who rode the bench and needed a role and came and played. They always had really great defense with Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Derek Brooks, and Barber, and those guys. So that, I guess, it surprises me a little bit, but at the same time, I'm a little surprised. I'm shocked though that that they've never done that. You would think they would do it with Jameis Winston, but I don't see them giving him a contract.
Yeah, you would think so. I'm sure you guys know I was a huge Jameis Winston fan coming out of college. I thought that he has And he still does, all the arm talent in the world. But if you don't have it
True.
between the ears, then you don't have it. And it's one thing when it's play, and you're struggling with your play. And Jameis Winston, you look at the talent around him on offense, and Winston has a lot of weapons. And why has that team never made the playoffs yet in Winston's career? So there's on-the-field stuff, and then there's the off-the-field stuff that's just unacceptable. And when it keeps happening and it becomes a pattern, it's not good. And then when it starts costing you games, when you get suspended for the first 3 games of the year, it's a what have you done for me lately league. And Fitzpatrick's got the hot hand, and Winston's going to lose his starting spot over it. So
Agreed.
it'll be interesting to see what Tampa Bay does. Maybe they'll move on from Winston, ride with Fitzpatrick for now, and maybe draft another quarterback here soon. Maybe they'll go after someone like Nick Foles. So we'll see what they do.
But then Nick Foles, I don't know. I leave Nick Foles alone.
Yeah. I don't know. He the only success Foles has ever had is in Philly, so.
And I think a lot of it has to do to the schemes on the coach. I think Doug Peterson is a great coach at calling plays.
Yep.
I think Foles impacted a lot from that, and it built his confidence. I think he was a guy who struggled a lot and almost gave up football. But, next thing you know, he's a Super Bowl champion and MVP. So.
Absolutely. Let's go Colts at Redskins. I'm just going to quickly skim this game. Colts beat the Redskins 21-9. Luck 21 of 31, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Nice to see Luck get a win back from injury. And Colts head coach Frank Reich gets his first win as coach. Redskins look to bounce back week 3 versus the Packers. Let's get into Lions at Niners. I know, Tom, you were there at this game. A good, hard-fought game. The Lions played them tough. Niners scrapped past them 30-27 in Levi's Stadium. Garoppolo goes 18 of 26, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. Stafford 34 of 53, 347 yards, 3 touchdowns and a fumble. Tom, what did you think being there live at that game?
Great game, great stadium, and a lot of fun. I wish that we would have won.
Yeah.
But, seeing it in person, the Lions are such a high and low team, emotionally and, actually with talent. So, after that first game against the Jets, first after the first play, I was screaming Super Bowl. This is the year. We've got the defense. It's done. Then after that game, it's all over. We're going to go 0-16. I think that you saw my post on Facebook, Alex,
yeah,
about the 0-16. So, it was encouraging to see. I mean, I know that San Francisco's, got a new quarterback in Garoppolo, and they were, pretty bad last season. But it was encouraging to see Stafford play better. I know his completion percentage wasn't great, but had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and over 300 yards. And the thing that I liked was he was hitting, a lot of different people. The thing that is still going to be there and is really going to be the demise, I think, of the Lions is that run game. Mm-hmm. Not being able to have a 100-yard rusher since, what was it, 2013?
Yes, Reggie Bush. Or
Exactly.
that was a yeah.
Yeah, no. So and I personally, and I don't have anything to back this up. I personally am not a huge fan of the running back by committee. I do like having a third down or a catching back receiver like a Riddick or something. But I feel like the Lions don't have an identity. They brought on LeGarrette Blount, who's a veteran, who's a big-bodied pounder. And then they drafted Kerryon Johnson to hopefully be the future and, kind of a bell cow runner for the Lions. But I just don't see it out of either of them yet. And I know that a lot of that comes from, the offensive line. But honestly, tell me what you think, Alex and Gaetan. But honestly, to me, it looks like a play calling issue. There were a lot of times on third and short, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 4, where we're still trying to do these tricky little slant routes or trying to get it underneath to Golden or try and do, a quick out to the edges and then getting tackled for a loss. So it's a culture and a play calling issue, and I don't see it getting rectified anytime soon. What do you guys think?
Yeah, what do you think, Gaetan?
Okay, so I've had a chance to really analyze Detroit. So all the teams in the NFC North, I always like to pay attention just to really, really understand how the team play calling, like you mentioned, or what their defensive schemes are. I don't like Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
And the moment Detroit hired him, I just felt like, man.
It seems to me to be a move just to make a move.
Exactly. And I felt like this is going to be tough. This is going to be really, really tough for Detroit because I feel like Matt Patricia, I feel like all Bill Belichick's students, quote unquote, always try to come and bring the New England way, and it never really works. The only probably successful quarterback who came out of New England, I mean, not quarterback, coach who came out of New England with Bill Belichick is probably Romeo Crennel. I mean, I can't think. Eric Mangini was a disaster.
Yeah.
Charlie wasn't that great.
Maybe, what's that guy, the Texans coach?
Bill O'Brien?
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah. Could be, right? So, the thing with Detroit is I see the talent on the team. They got great receivers. Golden Tate's really good. Kenny Galladay, to me, is a freak.
Mm-hmm.
I think, given time, he would probably be their number one receiver. I'm not too sure about the running back committee. Like Tom said, Kerryon Johnson looks good, but I think it's a project, something down the road. I just feel bad for Matthew Stafford because I don't know that he has been given all the tools for him to succeed. Yeah. I wasn't really happy when Megatron retired. I'll be honest, me being a Packer fan, I was a big fan of Calvin Johnson. And I love to see him play. I mean, he was so electric. Big receiver, could catch the ball over anyone, essentially. But I feel it for you guys in Detroit. It's rough. I would probably shoot myself. Yeah. But just you guys, the frustration is crazy, and I've seen Detroit lose some of the games that I don't know how they lose them. But next week they play New England. That's going to be a tough game. It's a Sunday night game, so I'll probably watch it. I'm going to see how they do, but I hope they win because I hate the Patriots. So
yeah, I'll say this. Looking at the stats here, Matthew Stafford, 53 pass attempts. That's what's wrong. That's what's hurting Detroit. They need a running game. They need to help the offensive line. Whenever you're passing over 50 times a game, your offensive line just keeps dropping back. And, when you run the ball, you give your offensive line confidence. And the Lions not having a good running back for years has hurt them. Look at Matthew Stafford hasn't had a running back his entire career, and he needs one. Tom, what do you think about this? Would you, if you're a Lions fan, if you're running the Lions, would you consider making a trade offer to try to steal Le'Veon Bell away from the Steelers?
I would have done two things as Lions GM. I would have, one, offered up my firstborn child for Khalil Mack, and my second decision would have been to offer up my second-born child for Le'Veon Bell. I think you make a great point, and believe you me, as soon as he didn't show up, it crossed my mind. It's one of those things that it makes sense to me, and you just got to do what you do to make it work. I know it's going to be expensive, but that's what we need. Even if it's not Le'Veon Bell, it's someone like that. That is star runner who can do that.
Can you imagine Stafford throwing it out of the backfield to Le'Veon Bell, and then you got Golden Tate and Galladay and those guys, but just having that threat changes the game completely.
Completely. And, when we were talking earlier about the Cincinnati game, and I was talking about how I always think of Andy Dalton and Stafford alike. I mean, I really can't think of another quarterback, unless I'm just missing it, who's been in the league for 10 years with this little amount of success when it comes to won games and playoff appearances. You aren't here for that long without winning or having success, and all of it comes from, like you were saying, putting the pieces around him and giving him what he needs and giving that offensive line what they need to be a balanced team, because it all relies on him right now to sling it.
Absolutely.
I agree. I mean, Stafford, what you just mentioned about him not having a 100-yard running back, he has it. I mean, I think if Detroit had a very good running back attack, it would free the offensive line. It would free Stafford from having to throw so many times. Like, I think I was discussing with some friends who are also Lions fans out here, and they're upset, because Stafford, turns over the ball. And I'm like, well, he turns over the ball because he throws more than anyone.
Yeah.
And at some point, he doesn't get protected. He's always scrambling, to make a 10-yard pass or, so that hurts. It hurts him, and it's honestly frustrating. I mean, he gets hit all the time. He's always playing banged up. Like, I really don't know of a quarterback who's played more with so many injuries than Matthew Stafford, and that's credit to his body. He's a strong guy, durable, but I mean, they need to do better. They signed him to a huge contract, but they need to build a team around him for his success. So I would love to see Matthew Stafford be up there challenging for NFL MVP. I mean, I think it'd be great for the sport. Detroit's a big franchise. Granted the fact that, they haven't had, all the wins like New England or Pittsburgh and Dallas, but the years of Barry Sanders, I don't remember them as much, but from what I've heard, they were great years. So,
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, if I'm the Lions and I go through another draft process, like say this coming year, 2019 draft, I'm trading up and I'm getting the best running back available. I'm going to hire a guy that's like a running back talent evaluator expert. And if Saquon Barkley or one of these guys is available, I'm trading up and I'm getting the best running back. And say, enough already. We need a running back. I mean, there's options.
Or they could go in by the trade committee. So it's like, okay, Le'Veon Bell obviously wants to get paid, but given his age, how much money do you really want to give Le'Veon Bell? He sometimes has injury problems.
That's true.
But when he's on the field, he's performing. So that's a tremendous upside.
Yeah,
so,
he's an MVP candidate when healthy, and
yeah.
The thing is, someone's gonna overpay for him. That's the problem. So, do you want to be the team that overpays for Le'Veon Bell? Like, is the need enough that you're willing to overpay for him?
Right, and the thing is, just like you said, something to think about too. Like Gaetan said, even in free agency, I mean, every year there is shakeup. I mean, you've got Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson. Now possibly Le'Veon Bell. I mean, you've got moving pieces, and so it's, even if it's a 1 or 2 year deal, it's one of those things. You're right, Alex. The Lions need to put someone on the case and say, hey, listen, this is priority number one. Yep.
And I would like to see it's also play calling. You have to be willing to stick with the run. And I'm a Kerryon Johnson fan. I watched him at Auburn. He was a beast. I'm a LeGarrette Blount fan. I know he's older, but he was a beast,
Both beasts.
Yeah,
it's a waste of their talent.
We'll give him some more carries. We'll see. We'll see what Detroit does going forward.
Another guy that's tricky is LaShawn McCoy. I believe this is his final year.
Yeah, that could be an option. There you go.
That could be an option in Detroit. So, I mean, there are options there. I mean, he's not a guy that's going to cost crazy. Probably less than $10 million. You could give him a 2 year, maybe $6 or $8 million. He'll take it because he's in his 30s. It's probably his last, decent contract he'll get. And if you have him, he's a shifty, a really good back. He can catch, so he could play first, second, and third down. I think that's interesting, but it all remains to be seen how much money they're willing to shell out. So
that's a good point. I could honestly, like, picturing Le'Veon or Shady McCoy in Lions colors, I could see that.
I would love it.
Let's go Raiders at Broncos. Broncos sneak past the rival Raiders 20-19 on a game-winning field goal kick. Big win for the Broncos as they improved to 2-0, and the Raiders dropped to 0-2. Tom, are you buying what the Raiders are selling, and do you think that the Raiders, are you buying the Broncos and selling the Raiders, or what do you think?
Yeah, I gotcha. I do not buy on the Broncos. I don't know what it is about the Broncos, but I think it was a dumpster fire of a game. Raiders are bad, and they're gonna be bad. Who did the Broncos play week 1?
Let me think for a second. Broncos, Seahawks.
Yeah. And Seahawks. That's they're still finding their way. They're starting out slow like they always do. So it's not a great. It's good for them, but not a great power win.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good that they snuck it out 20-19. I wish that they would have won by a little bit more. But Case Keenum, I always have seen him as pretty good quarterback, but I mean his stats in this game were pretty rough. I mean, no touchdowns, interception, and only 19 of 35. So that's pretty rough. They've got Phillip Lindsay, which looks really great. I mean, 100 yards, that's awesome. And he's definitely got a couple of people to throw to. Manuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas are going to be good as always, but I'm not a Case Keenum buyer yet, and I'm not a buyer of the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Phillip Lindsay, the Broncos rookie running back, undrafted out of Colorado. And he asked Terrell Davis if he could wear his number 30 in Broncos jersey, and he got permission, so that's pretty cool. Gaetan, tell me what you think of this. The Raiders out to an 0-2 start. They got John Gruden. The expectations are for them to win. Derek Carr, in a loss, becomes the first player in NFL history to complete over 90% of his passes in a single game while attempting over 30. He was 29 of 32, 288 yards and a touchdown. If you're the Raiders and Carr has that good of a performance and you still lose, what does that say?
Coaching.
Yeah.
Look, Carr's good. Carr's a good quarterback. I think, there was an article that I read somewhere on Fox Sports NFL that talked about how John Gruden has been this quarterback guru, but he's never really developed a good quarterback. I mean, you think back when he was a coach in Tampa Bay, he had Brad Johnson. Before, when he was in Oakland, he had Rich Gannon. He didn't really develop these guys. Like, these are solid backs, quarterbacks who ended up, he had a really good defense, and he had these solid quarterbacks who could, they could play, but they weren't like elite, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Derek Carr is going to develop anymore. I don't really see it. But I was looking at their stats when Tom was just, just breaking them down earlier. They're not really that good, in all honesty. I mean, they rush 93 yards per game. That's around 21st in the league. Passing yards, is roughly around 15th. It's interesting because they're supposed to be, winning now mentality. I mean, they signed John Gruden for 10 years, $100 million.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a lot of money to just give out a coach. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think he'll last 10 years. There's no way.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I don't see them winning that division. I don't see them getting into the playoffs. Maybe the best thing that will happen for them is moving to Vegas, which I think will be great for the city of Las Vegas.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't see them winning much this season.
Yeah.
Unless surprise me. They do have really talented players. You know, Jared Cook is the leader in receiving yards. Amari Cooper, to me, has just fallen off. Like, he's I don't know what happened to him. If, you know, he's just not good anymore. So
too many drops, and I don't know what else is going on with him, but
a lot of questions with that team overall.
Yeah.
Just a lot of holes. Marshawn Lynch is still there, and I like Marshawn Lynch. You know, he's from that area. He plays his heart out all the time. I just don't know. Like, I've seen Oakland play the last 2 games. They don't really look attractive at all. So
yeah, we'll see what they do going forward. Hopefully, can turn it around. Cardinals blow out the Rams, or Rams blow out the Cardinals in LA, 34-0. Easy win for the Rams. We'll move on from that game because who cares? Let's go. Patriots Jags was a hell of a game. Jags get revenge from the AFC Championship game, 31-20, with a home win against the Patriots. Bortles, 29 of 45, 376 yards and 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Brady goes 24 of 35, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns and a fumble. Keelan Cole with a big game, 7 catches, 116 yards and a touchdown, and had an Odell Beckham type catch. Tom, the big win for the Jags, a statement win coming off, you know, they lost the AFC Championship game last year. They got to be feeling happy about this win.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that it shows, you know, something for each team. So for Jacksonville, obviously huge, great win for them. But it also proves something that, you know, they've been working on. They had one of the better defenses last year, and this year they are either first or second with guaranteed money spent on their defense, with the Bears coming, you know, in third on that money list, and it shows. You know, they're getting things done on defense. They're creating takeaways, and they're creating pressure, which, you know, even Tom Brady as being the GOAT, you know, there's only so much you can handle from, you know, a stout defense like that. And then on the New England side, you know, nothing to be worried about. Obviously, it's Tom Brady and the Patriots. They're going to be fine. You know, something that is interesting, New England usually has a game like this, kind of a surprise loss throughout the season, but it usually doesn't come until week 9, 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people freak out a little bit when they see, you know, week 2 to have this one come. But they're going to win their next 5, 6 before they get another loss. So everyone just, you know, cool down. But props to Jacksonville. They invested in the defense, and they're showing dividends.
Absolutely. And I think the Patriots, I mean, they were dealing with some wide receiver depth issues with Edelman being suspended. And, you know, they brought in all these guys and also released them, and it didn't work out. But they, coming off a loss to the Jags, it's kind of surprising to see the Patriots make a move and trade a 5th-round pick to the Browns for Josh Gordon. Gaetan, how big of an impact do you think Josh Gordon can have in New England?
I think he can have a really big impact. I mean, it remains to be seen if he behaves.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill Belichick doesn't mess around. If you F up once, you're gone.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, it's such a sad story because the guy is so talented. I mean, Josh Gordon could have had 1,000 yards the last 6 seasons, you know, dating back to 2013,
I think. Yeah.
He's 26 years old. Is he 26 or 28? I don't know. But he's such a good receiver, so talented, but off the field issues. But yeah, I think he can be really impactful for them. I didn't want him to go there.
Yeah.
Because in New England, but now they're a threat. Offensively, they have Gronk, Julian Edelman is coming back, and then they'll have Josh Gordon. I don't know how you guard those guys. You know, so.
Yeah, you got Brady throwing. I mean, how do you guard those guys to begin with? And then you have Brady throwing them the ball. It just doesn't make for a good recipe. I'm on the camp of I don't know if I see Josh Gordon working out in New England. I mean, they've done this before. They bring in a guy with a troubled past or whatever and try to fix him. It's worked once with Randy Moss, It hasn't worked with Chad Ochocinco and others. I think it's a small risk move, so it's a good move for New England. But I don't think Josh Gordon's going to work out. I don't think that he fits the Patriot way. And I think that he'll be out of there and he'll be like, I would rather go hit the bong and not have to deal with Belichick right now. So,
I give him 4 weeks. If he makes it past 4 weeks, then he's proven me wrong.
Absolutely.
But I think what New England is going to try to do is they're going to try to make him get the ball and get involved so that he feels wanted. Because I think that's ultimately, the success of a lot of players. Some players, they feel like the team doesn't, invest in them in a way that they feel wanted. They feel like they're valued or belong. So if New England is able to do that, then everything will be fine. But Bill Belichick is crazy in his mind that, you never know what he's going to do, honestly. You could do something as stupid as come late to a practice, and then you don't play. You get benched. I mean, look at what happened to Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just flat out sat him. I think there was a clip where it was showing the national anthem. Malcolm Butler was standing there just crying, and no one could understand why.
Yeah.
And then, before you know it, this guy's not playing. Obviously, he probably was told that, he wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that whole situation is bizarre, and we'll see what happens with New England. Either way, they're adding more talent, and it'll be tough to beat going forward. Let's quickly finish with these. Giants at Cowboys on Sunday night. Cowboys shut down the Giants' offense 20-13. Eli Manning, 33 of 44, 279, a touchdown, a fumble. Dak Prescott, 16 of 25, 160 yards and a touchdown. Really, the Cowboys' defense looked not as bad. They got some pressure on Eli and played pretty well. And the Giants' offensive line continues to struggle. Odell Beckham didn't do much in this game. Barkley has to fight. Every time Barkley gets the ball, he's got a guy in his face. So, tough sledding for the Giants. What do you guys think of that game?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one. Dallas obviously got 5 or 6 sacks, so that's good. I'd like to know kind of your take on Eli, just because they've got all the weapons that they need. I mean, Odell didn't just all of a sudden one day wake up and suck. And they've got Saquon Barkley, who I think has proven himself in college to be a dominant player, and he looks really good. He fits the part. I don't know. Do you think people are getting on to the fact that Eli might be getting close to the end here?
Yeah, he definitely is. I still like Eli, and the fact that he has 2 Super Bowl MVPs will always be like, you never know with Eli if he gets hot. But the offensive line is bad. It continues to be bad. We thought we'd fix it after last year with the Ben McAdoo debacle, but it may be more than just Ben McAdoo. There may be issues there. Maybe the Giants should have drafted Sam Darnold instead of Saquon Barkley and addressed the quarterback situation. That has yet to be seen. I really like Saquon Barkley. Eli's got the weapons. He's got Saquon, Odell Beckham, Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard. He's got the guys, and it's up to him to get it done, and it's up to the Giants to fix whatever issues are going on in that line. What do you think, Gaetan?
I thought they should have drafted a quarterback. I really wanted Saquon Barkley to go to the Browns.
Okay.
But the opposite happened. I just felt like, yes, Eli can still be productive, but with all the drama and all the chaos that was happening last season and Odell being injured, I just felt like, what if, just start with a breath of fresh air and just get a quarterback and just build the team back up again. Because now they signed Odell to a big contract.
Yep.
Guy is going to retire soon. So what's the plan? Are they going to go and pick up a guy in free agent, or are they going to draft again? Because either way, it seems like Odell is going to have may have some rough years coming up. The bright side now is that even if they don't have a really good quarterback, they at least have a talented receiver and a talented running back.
Yeah.
But with that offensive line, I don't know who you would want to throw in there to throw the ball, because every 3-4 dropbacks, they're gonna get sacked. So, I don't know what their ceiling is for this season. I still have the Eagles winning that division.
Yeah.
Followed by Washington. I think Washington is a sleeper.
Okay.
So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
yeah,
I like Eli. I'm thankful he won 2 Super Bowls. He took them away from Tom Brady.
Hell yeah.
So, but I can't predict much from them this season. So.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on with the Giants. We'll see if they can figure it out. I think that Eli is too old and too much of a statue back there to really hide any of the offensive line issues. So until they fix the line, they're going to struggle. And yeah, they might end up drafting a quarterback this next year. That's probably what they'll end up doing. Let's go to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Eli got killed this last game with Dallas. I think they sacked him like 6 or 7 times, and you could tell the reaction on his face every time he stepped back. He was getting hit. So
yeah,
that offensive line is in deep trouble. So,
and I think you look, Eli Manning 44 passes. I would still like to establish the run game a little bit more. Emphasize the run game, and then you can help Eli Manning out with that line by doing play action and shit like that. So we'll see if they can figure it out. Pat Schumer is a smart guy, so hopefully he can get it done. Monday Night Football, my Bears take care of the Seahawks 24-17. Decent day from Trubisky, 25 of 34, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Russell Wilson, 22 of 36, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a fumble. Story of the day is really the Bears' defense continuing to make plays. Pick 6, quarterback forced fumble. So I'm happy. Bears get a win. What do you think, Gaetan? Did you watch this game?
I did. I wanted to see if Mitchell Trubisky, what he did to Green Bay, at least the first drive, if he could do that again. And he did. I mean, he looked good. He made some good throws. He missed a lot of easy throws, and I don't know if it's nerves, or I don't know if maybe he doesn't set his feet right before he throws it. But I think he's in a good spot. He's got a great coach who's also creative. I think he coached at Kansas City. He was an offensive coordinator there.
Yeah.
Nagy's good. I like Matt Nagy, the coach. I think that he, just like Patrick Mahomes, has good, pieces as far as like receivers with Robinson and Anthony Miller, and some really good backs. So I think I don't know what Bear football is expecting from him. But it might take a while, just because he's not as composed as he should be as a second-year quarterback.
Yeah.
But maybe also that goes back to lack of a lot of playing time in college, because I don't think he played a lot of games.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Yeah, I would say I'm pretty much just going to say thank God for Khalil Mack. Thank God for that trade, because players win football games. Star players make big plays and change the outcome of games. Without Khalil Mack, we wouldn't have been in the Green Bay game. It would have been a blowout. And without Khalil Mack, we wouldn't have won this game. We'd be 0-2 right now and be like same old Bears. And the fact that you get a guy like Khalil that's just a game wrecker. He's a difference maker, and he's worth it. He's worth whatever you had to give up to get that guy. And so I'm just happy we did that. 1-1, I'll take it. As far as the Trubisky criticism, I say to everyone, pump the brakes, because it's hard to tell based. Like last year, he was pretty much hidden in that offense. We ran the ball. We didn't want him to make any difficult throws. He didn't have anybody to throw the ball to. His best receiver last year was the backup running back, Tariq Cohen. So that tells you anything. So I'm preaching patience with Trubisky. Let the defense do its thing, and we'll see how we turn out this year. And the real key will be year 3 for Trubisky. What do you think, Tom?
Yep. No, I totally agree, and I think that you're absolutely right to say, pump the brakes on Trubisky, because here's the thing, Trubisky is young, he's learning, he's going to be a fine quarterback, but this team, realistically, like you said, it's built around that defense. I mean, this is like I said, the third most expensive guaranteed money for a defense in the league, and it shows. They had 6 sacks, Danny Trevathan looking great, Khalil Mack, not just from even, an actual playmaker ability, but the energy that he brings and this, ferociousness, it amps people up. I mean, I hate the Bears, and I was getting, goosebumps watching it. I was watching it on the plane back from San Francisco. Shout out Southwest Airlines for having the live TV.
Nice. There you go.
But yeah, man, it's built around that, a solid, solid run game and an imposing D that applies that pressure. So yeah, I think they look good, and I think for Seahawks, kind of typical for them. It seems like the last couple seasons they've started off slow like this. Russell Wilson always finds a way to make it work. The thing that does worry me about him is that he doesn't seem to be using his feet as much. Doesn't seem like he's getting enough time back there to make plays like he normally does. And I think that also part of that is it doesn't have as many downfield options as he had before. And then it's pretty obvious that their backfield, their secondary, obviously isn't as stout as it was, with some of those losses. So good win for Chicago. Hey, good on you guys.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with Seattle is Russell Wilson's missing his favorite target in Doug Baldwin, so that'll do something to it. I mean, who's he got besides Doug Baldwin? You're talking Tyler Lockett, Brandon Marshall, I guess Jerron Brown, Will Disley, but not any, you got an old Brandon Marshall. I guess you could say Tyler Lockett, really, maybe Jerron Brown, but not a lot of weapons for Russell Wilson. They have yet to really establish the run game after Marshawn Lynch left. So we'll see if Rashad Penny or Chris Carson can fill that role. And
I was quickly say on the Bears defense, I agree with both what you guys' assessment. As a Packer fan, I envy that defense because from the front four with Mack, Floyd, I forget the other two. There's a guy I think he kind of has a.
There's Hicks.
Is it Zavinsky or I forget his name, but anyways, they're ferocious. Along with Trevathan and Roquan Smith from Georgia. I mean, the defense looks good. I think that's the bright side of the Chicago. And I actually have Bears defense on my fantasy football team because the last weeks, because of Mac, they've gotten me 20-some points. So
damn,
shout out to them. I just wish we had a defense like that. So
you guys were rumored to get Mac. You guys were in that, and I was like, hell no, please not Green Bay.
I mean, also Kyle Fuller. That's I was really happy when we made the offer, but obviously, Chicago matched it and offered him a lot more money, so he decided to stay. Yeah, which is fine. I understand, but
joke's on us as Aaron Rodgers is beating him over the top.
Yeah, he should have had the quarterback. I mean, he should have had that interception to win the game.
Yeah.
But he missed it, so.
Yeah.
And even though they lost, their defense isn't looking maybe as powerful as it was before. Big props to the Griffin brothers. It's a cool story.
Yeah.
And Shaquem and
Shaquille. Yep.
Yeah. But both look pretty cool, and good for those guys.
Absolutely. All right. That's the week. You guys want to do some predictions real quick before we go?
Hell yeah.
Let's do. It's not that great of a game, but let's do Thursday night, tomorrow night. Jets at Browns. Who you guys got?
I think Cleveland wins this time.
Nice.
Same here.
I think they come in energized, and they see a real opportunity to take a win. So
I am going to go Jets just to go against you guys.
I like it.
Let's do, I'm pretty sure. So you like the Redskins, Packers, Redskins. Are you worried about that, or you think Green Bay can take care of business, Gaetan?
I'm a little worried. Again, just from a defensive standpoint, Alex Smith can spread the field.
Uh-huh.
I think when I think of Jordan Reed and our linebackers, I think there's a little bit of mismatch on our side. So I think he can exploit that.
Don't be so humble. Packers take this easily by 2 touchdowns.
I have to look. As much as I know Rodgers has got an ailing knee, if he's fit to go, I have confidence we'll win. At the same time, I know that because I felt like he was struggling a lot last game, even though he was still connecting his passes. He wasn't himself. So if we fall behind, I think it'll be tough because I don't know that our defense can win the ball back for us. So. But I expect the Packers to win by 10 points.
Yeah, we're all in agreement there. Packers by two scores. Let's do. I got Bears over Cardinals. That's easy. That's a 2-score game. Patriots Lions Sunday Night Football. What do you think about this one, Tom?
I'm gonna go Pats on this. It's gonna be a big stage for the Lions, but Pats take it.
All right. Do you think they can keep it competitive though?
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
I think that it unfortunately comes down to a fourth quarter comeback with Matthew Stafford again that falls short.
Oh, damn. All right. I'm going to go Patriots, but a good hard-fought game. What do you think, Gaetan?
I like upsets.
All right.
And how great would it be if the Patriots lost 2 in a row?
It'd be great.
It'd be great because it never happens.
Yep.
Right. I know it never happens. And I feel like Detroit's offense can pose a lot of problems to their defense.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm going to a close game here, and I'm going to go 23-20 the Lions.
Oh, I like
it's a good matchup.
Yeah. All right, then let's go Monday Night Football. Steelers at Bucks. Where are we going on this?
Woo! I'll take this one. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick makes some Ryan Fitzmagic and goes 3-0.
Oh, that'd be a hell of a storyline.
I think Pittsburgh wins this Monday night. It's a big game. They know that they can't lose a game. 0-2-1 is not a very good look.
Exactly.
I think Tomlin will. I don't want to call Tomlin out, but I feel like the pressure from the fans might get to him because a lot of people already think he's mismanaging that locker room, which I don't think he is. I think it's unfortunate that people in our day and age are way too drama queens, and
very true.
I think they bounce back and win. I still think Fitzpatrick has a really great game. So
I'm gonna go Steelers with the win. They have yet to get a win this year, so they're gonna be feeling the heat. They're gonna come out ready. I got the Steelers winning. I think some of the Ryan Fitzpatrick magic dies down a little bit on Monday night, and that'll make it interesting for Week 4 when the Bears and Bucks face each other. Who the starting quarterback will be there?
Absolutely.
So I got Steelers by 10, double digits. So should be a good week. Thanks guys for coming on. You guys did great. Another successful week on the podcast. You guys are welcome back anytime. So
for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex.
Yep. So have a great week. Thanks guys for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.